How is everyone? That's nice to hear. I'm good. Who asked that? Oh, you. Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, okay. I'm okay. Well, it's nice to be back in Rome. Missed you all. Missed Rome. How many of you are here for the first time? Wow. Not that many. It's mostly senior citizens here. What? Well, people are like, hey, just the senior citizens in the front are like, hey, don't call us senior citizens. I'm just kidding. I'm old, I can say that. I'm about to start getting benefits from my age, like cheap movie tickets and things like that. So I can make those jokes. Would you like to ask a question?
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
What was your favorite scene acting with Jensen? I can explain my question better.
Okay, well, yeah, you have more to ask. Go.
It's like
Are you saying, like, did I ever have a pleasant experience with Jensen?
well, out of all those best moments, which one was the best?
That's a different way to frame that. I don't know. I mean, I actually really loved Cass's goodbye scene. That was probably my favorite.
Yeah,
That felt good. Yeah, it was sad. You know, when you say I love you to someone, you want them to say I love you too. And that fucker just left me. I like that one. Do you have a favorite scene between those two characters?
Yeah, that's one of the best ones. It's really sad.
Yeah.
But it was like you expect Dean to react.
Yeah.
So it was so sad, and all those interactions between Cass and Dean, they were so good. Like long stairs and stuff.
The long stairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're into that?
I think quite a few of us.
Yeah. You know, most of those long stairs, like everybody was reading into the long stairs, these like long glances. Those were just us forgetting our lines. We were just like... But the editors kept it in. And then they wove this whole, you know, romantic narrative into it. It's just two actors who couldn't remember their lines. That's what it all was built on.
You did a really good job.
Oh. Are you asking questions over here? You're so far from the microphone,
Yes.
I can't tell. Okay.
Just a second to not forget my English. 2023 for me is 3 events mostly. JIB, of course, which we were waiting for 3 years. And there are 2 concerts in April and August, and I'm really excited for them. So I was wondering, because music is really important to me, I was interested, do you have a concert, band or singer you were waiting to go to and watch and loved? And who was that?
Well, there are two concerts that I would like to go to because just for my kids. Mason wants to go to a Katy Perry concert, and Wes wants to go see Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
You're going to an Imagine Dragons concert? Really?
Yeah.
Where?
In Paris.
Yeah, that's a little inconvenient. But that would be fun to do with the kids, to take them to something that they're really into that I am sort of lukewarm on. That's something I'm looking forward to as a yeah. By the transitive property, I will enjoy it. Hi.
Hi, Misha. You look fantastic.
So.
Well, I was wondering, so with Gotham Knights, it looks like all of your colleagues are basically children. So I was wondering, how is it different working with actual children versus the adult children you've been working with?
The actual children that I'm working with are much more mature. They have a better work ethic. And they don't break as many things on set. You know, it's funny, you mentioned that Jared and Jensen were like children, but I think they may have been children who just had some weird hormone disorder or something, so they appeared to be full-grown men. I remember early on, Jensen would sometimes, Jared would, I get them confused. Jared would walk on to a set. You know, they build these sets, and it looks like we're on the inside of a police station or something. And Jared would just like go up to the wall and rip a wall sconce off, like one of the lights on the wall. He'd just rip it off and throw it. Like a toddler, like an actual toddler would do. Like, you can't do that. But he could. He was number one on the call sheet. What are they gonna do? Fire him? So, yeah, there was a lot of that sort of thing.
I assume your genitals are much safer now. You always talked about how Jared looked like you.
We're talking about children here. So, I think you have to be careful. No, it's actually true. None of the children that I work with on Gotham Knights touched my private parts. Thank you for bringing that up. When I do publicity for the show, I'm going to start doing publicity soon for the show. I'll mention that in interviews. Like, one of the other great things about working on the show is that no one touched my genitalia. Although, to be honest, I do kind of miss that. It ended up being a perk of the job. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hi, Misha. My name's Aga. That's my first time here.
Hi.
I'm a bit nervous. A good question about...
Wait, what did you say your name was?
Aga.
Aga, hi.
It's really Agnieszka, but I don't want to torture you with that.
Agnieszka.
Yes, brilliant, thank you. I've got a question about West and Mason.
Okay.
Obviously, growing up real quick. What kind of, how much of yourself do you see in both of them? Both good and bad? Like, how much they, like you?
I don't think that there's any bad. I'm not sure what you would be referring to there. Well, I guess West is a little bit like he can withdraw into himself, which is I would say, no, it's a bad. I don't know. It's a trait of mine that is complicated. He has clinically flat feet, which I have. That's a bad trait that he inherited from me. And his feet hurt a lot. Kind of like walks around like this, which I had when I was his age. He's very smart, so he got that from his mom. Mason has kind of like a dreamy quality. She's often off in fantasy worlds, which is, I think, a trait of mine. Also, not necessarily good, not necessarily bad, somewhere in between. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about like, oh, there's a thing of me in you. I was in India in 1995, staying with this doctor who said, you Westerners have a very different approach to child rearing than we do. For us, we think that it's your job as a parent just to nurture the natural qualities in a child and let them blossom into who they're meant to be, not trying to make them into something that they're not. And I think I see that a lot. I think about that a lot. Like, I think we have, in the US, we have a tendency to try to make our kids be a certain way instead of trying to observe what are the natural tendencies, proclivities, interests of that child, and then just trying to nurture those. And I try to think about that a lot, and I try to, you know, like West is really into video games, and I think that that's bad. But then I look at him and I'm like, well, he's actually really getting something out of this in a way that I don't understand. He understands these universes and all of the characters within them in a way that my brain doesn't even operate. So maybe that's okay. Maybe there's a good, kind of healthy way to follow that interest and let it be. So I have to keep checking those things because I have these ideas of like what I think a child should be like based on basically how I perceive myself. And they don't necessarily conform to those things, which is great.
Lovely, thank you so much.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. My question is, do you have a favorite poem, either that you wrote yourself or just in general?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, there's a Mary Oliver poem that I quite love called Wild Geese. That might be a favorite of mine. There's some Rumi poems that I love. My favorite poems are not my own. Or if they are, I'm not going to say that publicly because that would make me seem like I'm really full of myself. Do you have a favorite poem?
Yes.
What is your favorite poem?
It's a German one, so I don't think you know it.
No, I don't.
It's Todesfuge by Porcelas.
I don't even know who that is, so that's perfect. What is it again? I'll try to look it up.
Todesfuge.
Death Fugue.
Yeah, it has an English title, it's Death Fugue.
The fugue?
Death Fugue.
Death fugue.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds hilarious.
No, it's not, it's about the Holocaust.
Oh, great. That sounds uplifting. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. I was wondering how it feels to play Jeremy, who is such he's a professor in folklore, but he seems so skeptical about the supernatural, and playing him after playing an angel of the Lord for so long.
You're talking about Bridgewater, the podcast. I loved playing that role. It was really interesting. It was also just an interesting experience to do an audio fiction podcast like that. Because you get to do so much material so quickly that it actually ended up feeling more real to me than when there's something about the process of doing television that you have to stop and start and stop and start so many times that you can't quite get into a flow with it. But if you're doing just sitting in a sound studio, you can record so much material in such a short period of time that you start to get into a flow, and so I loved it. It was great. And the character, I mean, in the first season of Bridgewater, Jeremy is a skeptic, right? And he doesn't believe things to the point that it starts to seem a little crazy. Like, I think we pushed that a little too far in the first season. It was like, come on, dude. It's obvious there's supernatural things happening here. But in the second season, I think it ends up being a little bit more grounded, ironically, because he accepts the fact that there are make-believe monsters all over the place. I guess that doesn't make sense, but that's okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hi.
Hi, so good to see you again. If Cass were to make a mistake for Dean, what songs do you think he would add to that mistake?
If Cass made a mixtape for Dean?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it would probably be a terrible mashup. Like music from all different kinds of genres. They wouldn't go together well at all. They would all be sappy, sort of teen romance themes. Yeah. Do you have a Cass for Dean mixtape?
I think he will add maybe some rock songs, like maybe Kiss I Was Made for Loving You, and then maybe his happiest song that maybe I will go 500 miles by the Proclaimer. You know which one? The Proclaimer.
You won that round. Good work. Hi.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
First of all, I missed you so much.
Oh, nice to see you.
I'm really nervous. 1 second.
Okay.
And
Thanks for getting that out of the way.
I was wondering if you can tell us what Cass is doing these days in heaven.
I don't know what Cass is doing. I haven't been in touch with him. He doesn't write. He doesn't call. I should what?
Pray to him.
I should pray to him. Maybe I'll do that.
Yes!
You know, it's interesting. I haven't had any dreams about Cass. That's weird.
I have a one.
You have what, never mind. Okay, yeah, what are the dreams? What are they?
No, I can't tell that.
Why? Because they're too religious?
No, sorry, I can't. Some other things?
Oh, okay.
Maybe tomorrow.
Okay. Tomorrow you're gonna get up and share your Cass dreams?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's something to look forward to. Yes, I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi Misha, I missed you too, even though we've never met before.
Well, it's nice to finally meet you.
It's nice to finally meet you. So my question is, what's your favorite version of Cass? Is it like the very early Cass, like badass motherfucker Cass? Or like Dead Steel, or God Steel, or Emmanuel, or Steve, or yeah.
I kind of liked playing Lucifer. Mark Pellegrino told me that that in every scene, when he was playing Lucifer, in every scene he looked at the other character and he thought, I either want to kill them or fuck them. And so that was the, I'm sorry, that's what he said. I don't use language like that, but Mark said that. And so that was a fun thing to play on, you know, when we get on set. And it turned out when I was playing it was all fuck. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm tired. It'll never happen again.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Hi.
Hi. As you published a book last year about boys, I was wondering, do you have any advice for aspiring writers? Or like, can you tell us something about the process?
My advice is just to write a lot. Keep writing. Are you hoping to publish a book?
Yeah, I've been trying for many years, but every time I give up on a certain idea and I start with a new one.
So you almost finish your books and then you start new books?
Yeah, nobody ever got to the end.
Well, maybe finish your book.
Yeah, that's the goal.
But you know, you can always get a publisher to publish a book. If you give yourself a deadline, then you just have to, you know, you can share the first few chapters with someone, and if they're going to publish it, then you're under the gun, and you have to finish it, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
We could just give you an artificial deadline.
Okay.
By JIB next year,
Okay.
we need to see that book with a final finished chapter. Hi.
Hi, I'm really enjoying Bridgewater and doing my best to visualize what, you know, is happening. But when it comes to the, I guess, the artwork that could accompany it. Has there been any talk about making concept art available about what you were, that was the intention for us to visualize when we were seeing, say, the scenery or anything like that? Well, if you ever do, then I'll definitely look for it, because just in terms of visualizing scenery, I don't think it's my strongest point, but it would be great just to see exactly what Bridgewater is meant to be, or all the interesting creatures.
Sounds like maybe you should watch television rather than listen to radio plays. My mother came out to visit while we were recording the second season of Bridgewater, and I live like an hour and a half out of LA, but she flew into LA, and I was recording in LA, so I had a taxi bring her to the recording studio, and she sat in the director's booth while I was in the recording room. There's a big glass. It's glass in between the two rooms, so she watched me record for a couple of hours, and then we were driving back home afterwards, and she said, "So you were just like rehearsing in there?" And I was like, "No, we were actually recording." And she said, "Oh. So that's going to be the final product?" And I said, "Yeah, that's it. I mean, I guess they'll edit it a little bit." And she said, "I don't know, Mish. I don't know. Supernatural looked much more interesting." I mean, people are really going to watch that? And I was like, "No. They're gonna listen to it." And she said, "What do you mean?" And she thought that standing there in the recording booth, reading off a script, that was a new TV show that I was doing. And she was like, I really don't think it's as good as Supernatural. There's really nothing going on visually. Anyway, but you understand what she's talking about, it sounds like.
Well, see, I'm from Ireland, so I don't really have American
You don't know what forests in the US look like? Well, you just have to watch Supernatural, because we have forests. Maybe you could listen to Bridgewater while you watch Supernatural on mute, and that can help you feather in some of the imagery.
Just to let you know, it definitely has been very, I've been listening to it on walks, and I can confirm it is very interesting, and definitely at night to be listening to it. So as far as the entertainment value is definitely there.
So you go on walks at night listening to Bridgewater. Then do you sleep at all? Or are you just terrified?
No, definitely I can sleep with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. So it's been a weird 3 years for everybody.
Yes, it has.
And we haven't seen each other for, I was in the last JIB, and I just wanted to know, how have you been? How are you?
How am I?
Yes.
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. I mean, if I wasn't doing well, this would be an awkward forum to talk about it. But I'm doing okay.
It was an honest question.
Yeah. Well, it's an honest question. I don't necessarily have to give you an honest answer. I'm nervously twirling chair. I've been doing well. I've been trying to strip some things out of my life to give myself a little bit more time to spend with my kids and to not be toward the end of Supernatural, my life had gotten so busy that I couldn't really do anything with full attention because I was just so stressed by the mountain of things that I had to take care of, and wasn't sleeping enough, and it was a challenging phase, and it took me a while to unwind from that, and you know. And then I did little like side projects like getting divorced, and it's all challenging. But I've been actually feeling pretty good, meditating a lot, exercising a lot, spending time with my kids. Those things add up to a good life. So I'm happy about that. Hello.
Hi, my name is Jeremy. First time here, so yeah.
Hello.
I don't know if someone already asked you this, but I wanted to know, like, who's your favorite antagonist in Supernatural? Like, who's the most interesting and developed antagonist in your opinion?
Probably Sam. Like that character just has this deep well of evil that came out in so many different ways. I mean, and it's interesting, it's funny, the actor actually who portrayed that character was also kind of an antichrist in his own way. Which I could see why they cast him in that character. Is that satisfying for you? Okay, is that what we're doing? I mean, I think Mark Pellegrino's Lucifer was pretty epic. He just did such a great job with that character. I mean, you see that and you understand why he works all the time as an actor. He's just a great actor and brings so much nuance to each scene and every performance. I think I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, thanks. Did you have a favorite? Jeremy? Should I get in?
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite?
Well, there's a lot.
There are a lot.
I like a lot of Lucifer, and ironically, I like Sam as an antagonist in the early seasons.